When it comes to creating your perfect home, it's often better to renovate than relocate.
This is a house that's been torn to shreds.
Whether you're building out
This is quite the project.
Or reworking what you already have.
Well, that's ridiculous. You just need to get a proper wardrobe.
the decisions you make along the way can make all the difference.
The house is still 10 times better than it was.
10 times. So we're looking back at some of our most brilliant builds.
That's lovely.
Oh, wait till you see everything we've done.
That were taken on by some inspiring families.
I think Alan spent too much time painting this house.
With the aim of answering one all-important question.
Are you going to love it?
Or list it.
Today, it's all about changing plans
You in there?
Yeah.
and why sometimes the best thing you can do is rip them up
It's not this plan. No.
as we take on two very different homes.
Just a slight change.
Oh, my giddy. It's not just a slight change.
That required clever solutions in the quest for more space.
Well, that's ridiculous. You just need to get a proper wardrobe. There's loads of space in here.
And we discover when the building work is finished,
I'm speechless.
whether changing plans helped reunite these two couples.
Are you going to love it?
Or list it.
There's an old saying, isn't there? If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail.
But in various instances,
In your work, in our work, actually, it's right. The right thing to do is to change plans. When would you say it is right to change?
As soon as you realise you've gone wrong. You don't sit there for 3 weeks with the builders working away thinking, oh. The second you think you want to change the plans, discuss it. And it's OK to say, OK, I've made a mistake. What's it going to cost us to correct this mistake?
What about situations, because it must happen where someone started work, it's a good plan, everything's going according to plan, and then something unforeseen arises?
Sometimes when you start taking down walls and moving things around, you do discover there are things you just didn't know were there. Often water, drainage can be a problem. You know, you can't just put a bathroom or a kitchen anywhere.
We have just redone our bathrooms, as you
Yeah.
know, and we changed the plan after the builders had started. And you know what I'm like about things changing. I don't deal with things change very well. And we've ended up with a lovely room,
Yeah.
but it's quite a bit bigger than we anticipated. So what we're saying is, when necessary, don't be afraid to change the plan.
Don't be afraid to change the plans, but don't dilly-dally.
Back in 2020, we travelled to the Birmingham suburb of Hall Green to meet a couple butting heads over their family home. Finance manager Bash and stay-at-home mum Nikki live with their 3 children. Monica, who's 15, Khadija, who's 12, and Adam, who's 10.
They've lived in this detached 3-bedroom home for 15 years. And for Nikki, it's where they should stay.
I love this house. I absolutely cannot see there being any reason to move. We've got everything we need around us. The only thing that needs to change is the house, and that's easily done.
Bash, on the other hand, is ready for a change, and that's causing conflict.
I just think that we might end up being here for the rest of our lives.
Well, what's wrong with
we've
that?
got one more move left.
They first moved in with just baby Monica. But now with 3 growing kids, Nikki and Bash both agree the layout isn't working for this family of 5.
One of the problems is that the family is segmented. They are pretty much siloed in their own spaces.
The only time that I feel we get together
family
is literally at the dinner table.
There are problems outside too. A dilapidated garage, which is currently a dumping ground, and a front porch that's causing big problems.
My mum is elderly and she really, really struggles to get into the house.
And the lack of bedrooms is proving to be an issue as well.
For sure, we definitely need a 4th bedroom. We have nowhere for guests. When we do have people, it will tend to be sort of a bit here, there and everywhere, and it's not been practical at all.
With very different views on their next stage of life, I think it's time for an intervention.
let's get this show on the road. Good
Hello.
morning.
Hi.
Come in.
Lovely to meet you, lovely to be here. Who wants to love, who wants to list?
I want to love it. I think our house is a great space in a great community, and I think we really just need to make it a little bit better, and we could be here for years. There's nothing wrong with the house.
Well, I think differently. I want to list it. I'm planning ahead and I'm thinking about retirement and stuff.
Retirement? When is retirement? How far off is that?
It's probably about 20 years away.
Oh, for God's sake!
Do you feel the house doesn't work? What's the issue with the house?
I've never felt relaxed.
Oh,
And
interesting.
That's a big problem.
That's quite a big call after 15 years.
What?
You also recognise that the house isn't working.
So there is the issue of the kitchen while I'm doing the cooking, and the kids are in the other room.
So the kitchen sounds like it's disconnected from where people are hanging out and spending time. So if you're cooking, you're not involved.
Yes.
And then how many bedrooms have you got?
That's another problem, because we need a fourth bedroom.
You've
and
got
that's
3
a
bedrooms.
must.
We have 3 bedrooms, very spacious rooms, but I've always wanted an ensuite. We haven't got an ensuite. The
So there's
bathrooms-
just one family bathroom upstairs?
There is one family bathroom and there's the downstairs toilet.
I think Kirstie and I need to have a bit of a look around the house and come up with a plan.
Good luck.
Nikki and Bash have previously applied for permission to build a double-storey extension, but were knocked back. So I'm going to have to find space within the house if we're to add that 4th bedroom.
So 3 beds, 1 bath. That's a lovely big room. That's where the girls are sharing. It's all really good-sized rooms.
Really good sized room.
Fantastic. There just aren't enough of them.
Luckily, I'm already thinking of a plan.
That will provide our solution. Yeah. 100.
And you've got quite an area here to play with to get your stairs up. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have a look downstairs.
Okie doke.
A loft conversion will certainly sort out the lack of bedrooms, even if they don't come cheap. But it's already becoming clear that the downstairs is the biggest issue. Massive room, massive front room.
It's a nice big kitchen, this.
Space clearly isn't the problem here, but changing the layout of period properties is rarely straightforward.
And with the cost of building work rising, even with a budget of £80,000 to £100,000, this could be tight.
There's a lot of space around the house, isn't there?
My gut is just take it out the side, incorporate fixing the garage in that.
But you're never going to crack the rural views. Persuading Nikki to uproot the family is going to be tough, but I'm optimistic that I can help her visualise Bash's country dream with their budget of up to £650,000.
I'm not so sure, Phil. If they do move, they'll have to shell out £20,000 in stamp duty, plus an additional £6,000 on moving and legal costs. That's a hefty sum for the retirement pot, whenever that day does come. I know Nikki's real dream is to create a larger family home with a double-storey extension. But as planning permission has already been denied, I've come up with a creative solution to make the most of the space they already have. To address the layout problems downstairs, I'm proposing a ground level extension which would fall under permitted development. Knocking down the existing garage allows space to extend to the side as well as to the back of the house. A new, wider garage will provide the more functional space that Bash is after, while the larger floor space will allow for an open-plan kitchen, dining and family space separated by an island. And patio doors will provide a view of the garden. The existing loo will then be enhanced to include a shower and utility space.
This would become a much more convivial room. Space for someone who might be sitting and doing their homework, space for someone to sit and chat.
I love that. I think that flows, and then obviously from there you can see straight into the garden as well.
And then the next plan.
The first floor will remain largely untouched, apart from the family bathroom, which will be tweaked slightly to accommodate a new staircase up to a 4th bedroom for Nikki and Bash, allowing the kids to have their own rooms downstairs.
But you'll notice that there's something missing from this.
No ensuite.
There's no ensuite. If you went for an ensuite, it would add to the cost. That's why it isn't currently on the plan.
Okay.
A lot to think about.
So I'm going to leave you with the plans.
Some great ideas there. I think it's going to look good when it's done. I'm not sure whether it's what you want, if it's going to be with the final product.
It is what I want, and I think you're a man with a bit of a worried look on your face.
Not at all.
How come you pitched that plan? What was in your mind?
How am I going to get what everybody wants? And I didn't, to be honest, with my plan. You know, as you saw, there were initial compromises.
A lot of what you do is managing people's expectations about what is possible, what's sensible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of times I've seen people give you an idea, this is what we want to do, this is our budget, and you've said,
When I look around the house to say, oh, hold on, that's perfectly good, just twist it a bit and tweak it a bit. Because people do have the impression that you have to, you know, what's the expression? Go big or go home.
Mm.
It's amazing how often a small tweak... Do you remember once we worked with a couple where they wanted to do a big, big, big extension, and I literally just made them do a declutter?
It goes to show sometimes the simplest plans are the best plans. Back in 2019, another family in desperate need of help were hospital worker Julie and her ceramic printer husband Alan, who'd had enough of their never-ending battle over whether to stay or go.
I think we need Kirstie and Phil's help because we've been been down this path of staying or moving quite a few times, and it's wearing a bit thin now.
For Julie, it's been 10 years of trying to escape, but to no avail.
We need someone like Phil to just show us what else is out there for our money.
It's not just Julie and Alan we need to accommodate. They have 2 children, Katie, who's 22 and lives at home, and 20-year-old Tom, who is studying away at uni.
Tom is almost 6'2" and he's in a box room. And because of that, he said to me, he says, I don't come home that much, Mum, because my room's too small.
Yeah, the house at the moment doesn't fit us as 4 adults, I get that, but it can do easily with a little bit of imagination.
I think it might take more than imagination to convince Julie.
When we pull up outside on the house, I always think, I hate this house.
Even a brand spanking new kitchen hasn't got this pair on the same page.
The kitchen doesn't work, the hall doesn't work, the garden doesn't work, the kids' bedrooms don't work. It's not really working.
Good luck with this one.
Don't be smug, Phil. You've got to impress her too.
Well, that's a good start, Phil. They've got a wide enough drive for you.
You brought your handbag in, meaning business today.
I do mean business today. I do.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Phil. I'm on.
Hello.
Hi, okay.
Thank you.
So you've got some debates going on.
A little bit. Little bit.
Time to get cracking.
Who wants to love, who wants to list?
Well, I want to love it.
And I want to list it.
Why?
We don't have much sun. It's a north-facing back garden, far too small. We've outgrown the house. It's not very pretty from the outside. It doesn't do it for me anymore, so...
I've got to say, I'm looking here and this is not a neglected house.
What's changed for you, Julie?
I think it's just as Kate and Tom got bigger, we just need more space. Tom's almost 6'2" now, so he needs space.
Well, he's 22, he's not going to be at home much longer.
But he won't come home with me, that's the problem. He doesn't want to come home to his room, it's so small.
It's not the room.
No, it's not.
It's the attractions on the other side.
Yeah, probably.
Alan, why do you love it?
Well, just different things, the openness of it, the peacefulness of outside, and we've always, in the end, compared what we've got to what we were actually potentially going to buy, and there's always been too many compromises.
What are you hoping I could do to make you fall in love with this house?
It needs to be a lot bigger. I can't see it happening really because we've got a north-facing back garden and I love the sun. And I'll never get the sun coming in the kitchen.
Do you feel what you want is out there? Is it realistic?
It's a struggle.
Within
it really
budget.
is a struggle,
Within
yeah.
budget.
Well, that's why I've called in you. That's why you're here.
Over to you, my friend. Over to you.
I've got a maximum of 315 grand to find a larger house with a south-facing garden close to their job.
With stamp duty fees hitting almost £6,000 and legal and moving costs nearly £5,000, that's some nice holidays in the sun for Julie if they stay put. I think spending their 50 grand love-it budget trying to convince their children not to fly the nest is daft. Katie's room isn't even that small. All it needs is a bigger bed and better storage.
These rooms are much bigger than anyone's giving them credit for.
It's not about making this house physically bigger, it's about making it feel bigger.
I have a cunning plan.
It's only going to use a small proportion of their original 50 grand budget. My first thought was to convert the garage into an extra bedroom for Tom and a separate utility space. But the more time I spend with Julie and Alan, the more I've realised that's not the solution. So I'm going to do something I've never done before.
This is the point at which I show you some plans.
Okay.
And it's not this plan. No. Yeah. Yeah, no.
Unlike my old plan, this new one will give a feeling of more space without blowing all their savings. In the garden, the Wendy house goes, freeing up the sunniest corner for sunbathing, while the garage gets a dedicated utility space and some proper storage. The front of the house will get a new render to improve its curb appeal, and upstairs just needs a simple revamp by adding built-in wardrobes and new double beds.
It's all cosmetic. This is all makeup. You need to be proud of this house.
Yes. Which...
You're not at the moment.
No.
You want to come home from work and you want to feel proud.
Yeah.
That's really what you want.
Yeah.
And I've got some pictures there. We've got the Julie and Alan board. Here we are. In your bedroom, you put in something like that.
We've talked fitting wardrobes.
We talked about them.
Of course you do, but you thought you were going to move all these years.
This is why we didn't get them.
You've got this great, quite private outdoor space there. If you had a sunroom out there...
That's good, I like that.
Always wanted one of them.
And that is not an expensive thing at all.
I know what you're saying about don't spend too much on it, because eventually we will move. I get that.
Oh.
I'm not going to make Alan cry as well.
No, you get emotional.
Meanwhile, back at Bash and Nicky's Hall Green home, work is finally underway. But things are not going according to Kirstie's plan.
I think my real dream was to pursue a second storey above the garage, so we're going to pursue that for now.
The local planning department had previously denied permission for a double-storey extension, which is why I avoided it in my original plan. Bash and Nicky are determined to try again. As a single-storey extension would fall under permitted development, they've made the decision to start the work and are now keeping everything crossed for the green light on the second storey. So, 10 months since we first met, I'm back to help finalise the new plan.
Wowee. This is quite the project.
The larger extension is what Nicky has always wanted. And it means there's now no need to convert the loft because they'll have more square footage on the first floor. But it's not the most cost-effective way to increase space.
Here you go. Literally can't get hold of these fast enough. Oh, my... You would never have let me present this plan. This is not in budget, Bash.
I agree with you.
Yes.
She's running wild.
She clearly is running.
Just a slight change.
Oh, my giddy. It's not just a slight change.
Almost doubling their budget to 180k is allowing Nicky and Bash to increase the footprint of the property by 40%. Making one huge kitchen, dining and living space with bifold doors onto the garden. They are sticking to my idea of rebuilding the garage, creating a utility and wet room, and, at the back, a separate study. Upstairs, the extension would give them 2 more bedrooms, so the kids would have 1 each and 1 for guests, and a shower room. Then the current bathroom can become an ensuite and walk-in wardrobe for the main bedroom.
The upstairs is quite fluid in terms of the plan at the moment because I'm edging towards that new side that we're building as becoming one big grand ensuite bedroom for us. So we move from bedroom 1 into that newer space.
On the current plan, turning the family bathroom into an ensuite and dressing area could make space quite tight. What Bash is suggesting is to turn the 2 new bedrooms into one huge main bedroom with an ensuite and walk-in wardrobe. But I think they should stay where they are and use either bedroom 2 or 3 as a dressing room. In terms of resale value, having an additional bedroom would be far better than squeezing it into an ensuite or creating one massive main suite.
With the work underway, Nikki and Bash have some serious thinking to do, as a change of plans now could help them avoid much more costly changes later on. The best way is to make any changes to plans right at the start, as Kirstie did in Stoke, where Julie and Alan were getting stuck in.
The Wendy house is gone, the paint's going on, and the declutter has started.
We're doing everything she said, taking her advice on board. It's going to look lovely for someone else.
I'm in my element here, and I think the more space we get, the more paint we put on the wall, the closer Julie comes to staying. And she'll never admit it, but you just wait. You just wait. Don't look in it, you, throw it.
Aww.
Make the house bigger. That's another carload closer to loving it.
With the garage emptied, they plan to boost the curb appeal by rendering the front of the house and adding a new step. And 10 weeks after Kirstie ripped up her plans, she went back to see how Alan and Julie were getting on.
Do like a bit of decluttering. I really do. It feeds my soul. You can see that the garage looks completely different. It is a much, much more serviceable, usable space.
The next issue I want to address is in the garden. Despite the old shed being ripped down quite early on, there's still no sign of the sunroom I recommended.
It's properly sunny, this garden. So what this has to be is a home from home. And finding the right thing on budget, which Julie likes, which she can develop a real fondness for. Because if they're going to stay, she's got to love it.
To give them inspiration for the alfresco sitting room I suggested, and with a £2,000 spending limit, it's time for a Team Love It field trip.
So what we've got here, guys, is a selection of garden rooms and pergolas and stuff, just for you to have a look at.
Something to think about when choosing a garden structure is what function you want it to perform. An open space for entertaining, a more secluded private area, or something more flexible.
Oh, I like this.
A pergola is a stylish way to create a defined space for outside entertainment, with a variety of colours and materials to consider, plus the option of fixed roofs and retractable ones. You can create a bespoke space suited to your needs.
Pretend the house is there, OK? Yeah. The sun is here,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Here, yeah,
That's
in the
it.
evening, yeah.
Yeah, it's dropping down there.
So if you have an open-sided one like this,
Yeah.
then you're maximising the sun. Alan, you were quite keen on something with sides.
Well, I was just keen on a nice, usable area that looks good.
Mm-hmm.
It's practical.
So this is definitely straight away for this structure.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, yeah.
No, don't worry, Alan. I'm not going to make you get your chequebook out just yet. OK, so, to be gentle with it...
Oh, look at that.
It does work, doesn't it?
It does.
Kate and Tom would love this. Tom would come home.
Everyone's happy.
Well, apart from Phil when he sees this.
Julie and Alan in their outdoor room.
Oh.
Note Julie's happy face. Love you. Bye.
In the Birmingham suburb of Hall Green, Nikki and Bash had changed Kirstie's original plan and decided on something of their own on a much grander scale. But despite this, Bash was still hankering after that country lifestyle, which is why I was keen to show them what their £650,000 budget would get them a little further out. Nikki and Bash had asked me to find them a 4-bedroom detached property with an open-plan family space for Nikki and a rural setting for country lover Bash. So I'm taking them to the historic town of Bromsgrove with this cracker. On the market for £600,000, this house is an example of how much more they could get for their money that little bit further from home. And it's still 50 grand under budget.
Oh, very nice.
Well, there's no issue with the garden size here.
No, it looks good.
It's
Got some
pretty.
character to it.
Definitely pretty.
Happy, smiling faces. That's good to see.
Okay.
Let's head inside.
Yep. Let's go.
A strong start, but I think the interior is going to blow them away. There's an impressive kitchen diner that's over twice the size of their current kitchen. And there's also a separate utility, lounge, WC and study on the ground floor.
Very nice.
Oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, no.
And look, you're looking out onto the lovely garden.
That's what I wanted.
I like it. I think this gives a good feeling.
It was the garden and the kitchen that we really wanted to nail. But actually, there's another treat I have for you upstairs. Follow me.
Oh, no.
Sounds good.
I'm getting scared.
Upstairs, there's a family bathroom, as well as a bedroom for each of the children. But the jewel in the crown is this spectacular main suite, complete with Juliet balcony,
Oh.
Fantastic.
walk-in wardrobe, and ensuite bathroom.
This is good.
Oh, no.
It demonstrates to you, I hope, Nikki, that should you choose to list it, you can afford to buy something pretty spectacular.
Although that house got Nikki wavering, it was my next property that really hit the spot. Nestled in the leafy village of Marston Green, it offers the perfect mix of the country-style living Bash longs for, with lots of green open space. But I'm confident that this final house will give their renovation a run for its money. On the market for just under $640,000, this stunning 5-bedroom house is 14% bigger than theirs will be post-renovation.
Come on through. Big hallway. But then we get into this.
Oh, this is
stunning.
Goodness
kitchen.
me.
fantastic.
Have you seen outside there?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
caught my eye over the sink.
Keep coming.
Oh, my goodness.
This spacious kitchen at the heart of the house connects seamlessly through to an open-plan lounge and dining area on one side and a utility and orangery on the other.
I love it. All of this is open, but it flows extremely well.
I love the way everything's got its own zone. So you got chill-out zone, dining zone.
Good.
It is very nice.
This is a house that the whole family will love, with the peaceful surroundings Bash is after, the layout of Nikki's dreams, and lots of space to keep the kids entertained. And a 5th bedroom that's currently kitted out as a walk-in wardrobe.
Oh, my.
Yes.
Goodness.
A mezzanine floor as well. Fantastic.
I can tell this house is speaking to Nikki's heart, but will she ever admit it?
Hello, hello, hello.
Even you're smiling, Nikki. You can't help yourself.
This is very, very interesting house. That's all I'm going to say. Over to you.
It has at least served to demonstrate your budget can buy you something pretty damn special.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
But is it cool enough to convince Nikki to leave their life in Hall Green behind?
I think she's moving, slowly moving towards the listing.
I'm thinking about it. It's really opened up my mind to what our budget could get us.
I always worry when we're working on a project and the spend on the renovation gets a lot bigger, that it's going to make my search harder.
I'm worried about what you go and see, because sometimes they come back and they're like, oh, I want this and I want... I mean, people change. Talk about changing things. People change their builds after seeing things with you.
Something that's come across, well, it came across in Nikki and Bash's search, it is not necessarily identifying a room with a designated use. Just because it's dressed as a dining room doesn't mean it has to be a dining room.
You know, we're expected in our own lives and in our own working lives to be multitaskers. Why don't we expect rooms to multitask? Because so many people work from home, they don't feel comfortable relaxing in the room where they've been working.
Yeah.
So how do you create a room that you can work in the day and relax in at night and at the weekend?
It's quite hard.
And that's a very important one that we all have to look into now.
A little more than 2 years after our first visit, we headed back to Hall Green to discover if Nikki's change of plans was enough to make Bash change his mind and stay.
the transformation starts right from the curb. Where you were once greeted by a dilapidated porch and garage, there now stands a modern, fully rendered house front with a brand new porch and a wider, more functional garage.
It looks like a completely different house.
Hello.
Hello. Remember us?
How are you?
It's been a while.
We noticed that you moved house.
Indeed.
It's completely changed.
What have you done?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, come in and have a look. We'll show you.
I am longing to see. I am longing to see.
Come in.
Bash is currently nursing a football injury, but it's you who's about to be knocked off your feet when you see what they've done inside, Phil. Well, there are still a few final loose ends to tie up. What Bash and Nikki have created here is nothing short of spectacular.
I'm speechless.
The old kitchen was awkward and made Nikki feel isolated from the rest of the family. But with the help of a 55 square metre extension, it's now a vast open-plan kitchen, dining and family area. And the uninterrupted garden view Nikki had always dreamed of.
So it has been such a long time. There must have been a few challenges along the way for it to take that long.
So I think once we decided it wasn't going to be the original, the 80 grand budget, we added everything that I could think of, bells and whistles, along the way.
I think we took a practical approach, and everything she was picking out was adding value, and I could see the benefits of it. But we did have a max budget, which we're not going to go beyond.
So there's more apart from this. Can we have a look upstairs?
Absolutely, yes.
Upstairs, where there was once just 3 bedrooms and 1 family bathroom, the double-storey extension has allowed Bash and Nikki to create a series of new rooms. Adam now has his own ensuite, and the girls are no longer sharing a bedroom.
Whoa.
And whilst they didn't create a 5th bedroom in the end, Nikki and Bash did come up with an inspired plan for a shared family dressing area. And instead of squeezing it into the main bathroom, they've cleverly utilised a space on the landing. And on the same floor, they now have a fabulous main bedroom and spacious ensuite bathroom.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. You have been busy. Have you enjoyed any part of it?
Honestly, no. It's been painful. And I think with all the issues that we've had, I think just seeing the finishing touches now makes me smile a little bit.
Pleased to hear it, Bash. But does Nikki feel the same? I think it's time we put this debate to bed for good.
Are you happy with it, Nikki?
It's actually beyond my own expectations. It does look really lovely.
It does.
The figures are quite outstanding. So let's just run through this.
What was the house worth?
Its average valuation prior to the work was £375,000.
Okay.
The total spent on this house to finish, we hope, is £220,000.
But?
The average valuation of the house at the moment is now £620,000.
Really?
So, give or take, with the following wind, you haven't lost a penny and you might put 20 or 30 grand in your pocket.
Happy?
I wasn't hoping to make any money out of this. I think we were breaking even.
Bash, how did you find the search in terms of getting out into the countryside and greenery and nature? And
I thought that was brilliant. I mean, it just gave me a flavour of what is out there for the price range.
I felt so too. We saw good value for money.
Yeah.
I did demonstrate that there was life outside of this street.
Absolutely. And that's what I wanted Nikki to feel.
Shall we get to the point?
Race ourselves.
Nikki. Bash. Are you going to love it?
Or list it?
We're going to list it.
List.
Are you?
We are.
I have to be honest with you. So when I was going through it, it was so painful. I physically had gone onto the listed side. I'd had enough. Obviously, the children are just growing, and at the moment we've got one who's already flown the nest. Whether she comes back or not, we don't know. The next one's going to follow very shortly. So, you know,
it's just going to be the two of us.
Yeah, it'll just be the two of us rattling around this shaft.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's got to have been one of the biggest renovations that's ever happened on the series. 55 square metre extension, that's huge. But
I think there was
worthwhile.
almost no room in the house which remained untouched. So in terms of, yes, yeah.
But it was, I mean, they massively overdid their budget, but when all's said and done, it was worthwhile.
We're looking back at brilliant builds that came from changed plans. Nikki and Bash in Hall Green, Birmingham, decided to list their reinvented 4-bed home. But up in Stoke-On-Trent, the dice were still rolling. Julie and Alan had asked me to find them a house that's bigger than the one they have now, with a south-facing garden close to where they work. We started our search in Stone, just 20 minutes to the hospital where Julie works. It's listed at 10 grand over budget at 325,000, but with houses in the area currently selling for on average around 7% beneath their asking price, it should come in on budget. It boasts 3 good-sized bedrooms, a decent-sized lounge and a bright contemporary kitchen diner, leading out into the jaw-dropping garden.
The key rooms in the house
This is nice.
address the garden.
I love this. I love what he's done to the house. It's amazing. It's not a huge house, but he's just made the most of every corner.
I knew winning Alan over was not going to be easy, but I had a good feeling about my next property. It was an absolute corker. It's in Dresden, 15 minutes drive from Julie's work and less than 20 minutes walk from Alan's.
So, you wanted character?
Ooh.
How about that?
That is stunning.
It's the style of house we're looking for.
Did you hear that? He said, what we're looking
I did.
Not
I know. He doesn't
we're on
say
the go
that. Alan loves it here, don't you?
I drink in that
That's
pub.
his favourite pub.
How about that?
Did you hear that, Kirstles? Alan's favourite pub. It's at the very top of their budget, costing £315,000, but offers 4 bedrooms, a beautiful and bright kitchen diner, as well as 2 good-sized living rooms, all packed with character, and the southwest-facing garden's not so shabby either.
Big entrance hallway, parquet flooring, ceiling height, cornice. I mean, shall I go on?
We've looked for these houses.
This is amazing.
See, this is why I kept saying no, because I knew one would crop up.
Oh, this is stunning, Phil.
And then through the bifold doors
Gosh.
to your south-facing garden.
Oh, is
and this
it?
is a real sun trap.
Oh. No, this is great. And it's got parking as well.
Yeah.
Bish, bash, bosh.
Hey.
Who's in trouble now, eh, Alan?
With the added bonus of Alan's favourite pub next door, I was feeling pretty smug. And just over 4 months after Kirstie ripped up her plans, we were back in Stoke to find out if I'd done enough to lure Alan away.
Ooh, that's a bit different. That's very different. I've got to say, it's like arriving in a completely different house.
Well, that was the purpose, really, that Julie should come home and feel that she wanted to be home.
What was once a plain-looking 70s house devoid of character has been rejuvenated with a modern render and a brand new step, packing it full of curb appeal, all for just over 3 grand.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
She goes.
The sunshine.
See you again, mate.
And you. I was admiring this.
Yeah.
Different.
Better.
Yeah.
it's definitely different.
Julie, one of your issues was when you arrived at the house, you just didn't like it.
No, I didn't.
Has that changed?
No. Yeah, I don't turn up now and think, oh, that house, I don't like it.
It's transformed, hasn't it, I
Steady on, Alan.
think it's nailed.
The new look at the front is a step in the right direction for Team Lovett, but it doesn't stop there. Upstairs has been transformed to feel larger, brighter and more welcoming. Starting in Tom's room with a lick of paint and a reconfiguration, it's become a much more welcoming retreat from university. Katie's room used to seem like a small single, which didn't work for her staying at home, but it's now transformed to sport a double bed and a proper wardrobe.
And our room.
Julie, look at this.
It does look nice.
It
Does look lovely.
really looks nice.
Following my advice, Alan and Julie's bedroom has been transformed with a bold new paint colour and is now home to a fully fitted wardrobe that cost just under £1,000.
Can I look?
Slides.
Oh,
Yeah.
look. The thing about these shelves, Phil, is because they go right up to the ceiling, it feels like a wall.
Yeah.
And weirdly, it doesn't feel a smaller room because the ceiling feels higher and everything's sort of clean.
Quite got the kind of ceiling height and character features of just a house that we might have looked at that's next to your favourite pub. It's cozy.
In a way, I feel like we've already moved house already because it's different.
Don't say that, Julie. We've won.
As you may have noticed, Phil, there's a new wardrobe in here and 2 new wardrobes in the 2 other bedrooms. But that's not all when it comes to storage in this house.
What have you done? Dug a trench?
Not a trench, just £210 spent on some clever shelving and a mass clutter exodus.
Oh, look at this.
Yes.
By replacing the old shed with a stylish pergola and some seating, all costing just over £1,000, they've transformed an unused space into a haven for sun worshipper Julie.
Oh.
So the shed was in the best spot of the garden.
Sunny corner.
It's so warm. You sit down, it's so warm.
Yeah.
And to finish it off, I'm pleased to see they've also replaced the tired garage door with a beautiful barn-style wooden one.
Seen the sign that Julie's added to at the back there? It used to just be love.
It used to say love.
And now it's love it.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about list it? Julie, you're letting me down. Oh, dear.
It's okay. It's okay.
We better sit down and have this chat and get it out of the way.
Oh, Phil, don't worry. You'll soon be put out of your misery. But just one last thing. This whole project cost just over 11 grand. That's a whopping 39 grand under budget.
Before we make any rash decisions, think about the houses that we looked at together, particularly the second house.
OK.
Which had high ceilings, tons of character, south-facing garden.
I love the house. Couldn't fault it.
It was a Bobby Dazzler, that house. It was.
It's a great house.
Have you made a decision?
I'll let Julie make the decision completely. Completely.
After... I think Alan spent too much time painting this house.
No, I've just got it right. We're going to list it.
You're going to list it?
We're going to list it.
You're going to list it?
Because that's, we're going to live in it for a while, enjoy it.
Oh, OK.
Because that's the right thing to do, isn't it?
Well, I want to, but I don't want to if you don't want to.
Well, I do, because that's what we both should do.
OK.
Alan, you have done everything you can with good grace and energy and a good heart to make Julie love this house. But she hasn't loved it for a long time, and what you're doing is an act of love, and it's very impressive.
I mean, it's been emotional. It has, it's just a house, but it's our home.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a happy home for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not crying. It doesn't matter.
No, of course you're not crying, Alan.
I'm all right with it.
Of course you're not crying.
I made the decision.
Absolutely.
I think we raise a cup of tea to Alan and Julie and the family.
And all the hard work.
Yeah, well done.
Just a few months later, and Julie and Alan had sold up and bought the home of their dreams, not far from their last place. Their new house gives them the extra space they were after, both inside and out.
I did think we'd find the right house to move to eventually.
I don't think we'll ever move again. No way. 10 years to find the perfect house. No, we're not doing it again. We don't need to do it again because we've got everything we ever wanted here. Everything plus more, actually. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I'll agree. We're staying.
Yeah.
We're going to love it.
Well, that goes to prove that changing your plans can be a good idea. You did it early enough in the process, and you saved them time and money. It was a good result.
It was a plan change that came directly through talking about what they wanted, where they wanted to go,
what they saw the future. It was one of those cases where that was what changed it. I never thought that Julie and Alan were going to stay in that house for forever, and they didn't. They've got a lovely new house, which they're absolutely thrilled with, quite considerably bigger than their old house, and has a very sunny garden. The thing I love about the job is being involved in those decisions. It's an enormous privilege to be invited into people's homes, to talk to them about their lives, their loves, their dreams.
Their hopes and their dreams.
Yeah.
I love it when they actually choose to love it and stay.
Yeah.
And then you or I go back and see them in 18 months' time and they've moved. And I go, yep, ding.
Yeah.
I'll take that one.
Yeah.